So last year I reseeded my entire lawn using Perennial RPR, which is a ryegrass. So in Sweden we do have harsh winters, and apparently ryegrass doesn't do well during harsh winters. After winter, a lot of my ryegrass died, especially in the front. Most of the front actually died off completely. So today I'm actually trying out a new type of ryegrass, and hopefully it does better. So hey everyone, my name is Sam and I'm an average Joe lawn nut. Alright, so why am I so hell-bent on using ryegrass? Why not use Kentucky bluegrass or some kind of fescue that handles my climate better? Well, I think ryegrass has some benefits that I really like. It grows really fast, so it does help outcompete the weeds, especially in a country like Sweden where herbicides aren't allowed. Before I reseeded the entire lawn with rye, I had a Kentucky bluegrass creeping red fescue lawn. Just this last year with the Perennial RPR, I feel I had to pull less weeds, since when I do have a bare spot I just reseed it instantly with the RPR, and it usually takes 5-6 days for the new grass to come up, whereas with the Kentucky bluegrass and the fescues it took about 3 weeks for it to come up. So it does decrease the time the weeds have to actually establish, especially during spring when you have a lot of weed pressure. Ryegrass does grow in about 5 degrees Celsius, so you can start really early to actually seed those bare spots you have after winter, because even though Kentucky bluegrass and the creeping red fescue handled winter better, I always had bare spots after winter. I mean, you have patches of ice laying on top of the lawn after winter, that will kill off anything. It doesn't matter what type of grass you have. So those areas need to be reseeded in spring. And when you have ryegrass that handles lower temperatures, you can actually start earlier. And we also play a lot of soccer on the lawn. I mean, you can see the goals behind me. We play a lot of soccer on this lawn, and we usually put the goals around here, and in the middle part, that's where the most traffic is. And when I had the fine fescues and Kentucky bluegrass, I felt it was really thin in the middle. It didn't handle the traffic that well. And I mean, look at it now. We played a lot of soccer this year on this lawn. I mean, does it look thin? It handles traffic really, really well. So those are some of the benefits of ryegrass. That's why I keep trying to make ryegrass work. It has benefits for me. Maybe it doesn't have those benefits for you. You just have to find a type of grass that suits your needs. So let's have a look what I'm using today. So this is what we're trying today. So this is a ryegrass from DLF Seeds. It's called Masterline Superliga. So surprise, surprise, it means Super League in Swedish. And this one contains 5 different types of ryegrass. But the ryegrass that is really interesting is this Fabian. It contains 30% of that one. And that one is what a ryegrass they call 4-turf. And the 4-turf cultivar is the one that I'm really interested in. So those are tetraploid ryegrasses. Normally the ryegrasses we use are diploid. So instead of 1 set of chromosomes, these have 2 sets of chromosomes. So what does that mean, that it has 2 sets of chromosomes instead of 1 set of chromosomes? So first of all, it's supposed to give these ryegrasses a larger root system. So that means it will stay green longer during the year, and it will green up earlier. And it also helps during droughts. Since the roots go deeper, it gets water deeper down from the soil. And that part is really interesting, since every year I feel like we're getting longer and longer periods of drought. So I think cool season grass type need to be developed to be able to handle drought better in the future. And when grass gets stressed, that's when you get diseases. So right now, for instance, I am having issues with red thread. This 4-turf kind is supposed to be able to store more energy, since it has more chromosomes, and that energy reserve helps against those stressful periods and disease resistance. So I'm interested to see if it will help against red thread, because they actually state that this is very resistant to especially red thread, and that's the fungus I have the most issues with. And it's also supposed to have a deeper green color. I've never seen them live myself, so I'm really curious to see how it will turn out. I thought this was really deep green, the Perennial RPR. I've never seen it more green than this. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the color of this. And another thing I really liked about this is that the seeds have been tested in ScanTurf. So that's a testing program for seeds for the Nordic countries, so for Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland. And I saw the results. I've been in there and checking the results, and it has gotten really good results, especially for winter hardiness. It actually states on the bag itself that it is very winter hardy, so it should tolerate harsh winters. So I really hope this will survive winter. Still, in those tests you could see that Kentucky bluegrass is the dominating grass species when it comes to surviving winter, but this one wasn't that far behind. I didn't even see Berenbrug's RPR in those tests, and I kind of get why. All right, so let me show you where I'm gonna seed this grass. So first of all, I'm gonna seed it all around the border here. I dug out all around the lawn and put in these stone edges. So around all the edges, I need to reseed. And I also built a deck here. So there was a lot of stones here and I removed those, built the deck, and I actually want to plant grass here. And this will work perfectly for this test. Now, all of this is RPR. I reseeded this after spring because everything died. Then you can really compare them and see how it looks color-wise and if it survives winter, since the front lawn was the one that was worst off after winter. So now we need to just fill these up with more topsoil and just add the seeds. So first I need to add some more soil. It's not level compared to the lawn, so I just need to level it off a bit. I'm going to use the leveling rake for that. I think it's as about leveled as it's gonna get. You can always level it off afterwards. When the grass starts growing, you can add some more top dress and just level it off. I don't mind if it's not 100% leveled. So now we just need to add the seeds. I'm just gonna seed by hand since it's such a small area. So that's kind of what I want in terms of coverage. Now I just need to rake that in so it's covered by the soil and then water it in, and then we're done. Well, we're not done. I still have to do all across the borders, but at least we're done with the actual test plot. So I ran the rake lightly all through everything just to make sure it comes down into the soil, the seeds. And the final step is just to compact it so you get that seed to soil contact. And normally I would just use a garden roller, but this is such a small area, so I'm just gonna step on it. That's good enough. All right, as a final step, I'm just gonna cover everything up with the light layer of soil. I'm just gonna use my hands just to make sure everything's covered up. That's it, now it's done. And the last light layer is just to keep it safe against birds and stuff that will eat the seeds. Now I just continue on with the border like this, the same way. I guess that's gonna take a while. It's all across the lawn. And if you're hearing a lot of background noise, that's my son and 4 of his friends playing soccer right now. So we'll see how far I get. And they use real football shoes as well with the spikes and everything. So it's really hard on the lawn. That's why I'm saying it still looks like that, and they play like this almost every day. So the wear tolerance of the RPR is really great. All right, someone scored a goal. When they did that, when we had the fine fescue, it just thinned out instantly. It's so fragile. Let's continue on and see how far we get. But one thing you need to remember about ryegrass is that it's not like Kentucky bluegrass or creeping red fescue. It doesn't creep, it doesn't spread on its own. One plant is just one plant. That's why you need to overseed pretty much every year if you have ryegrass. Some of it will die and you do want to introduce younger, stronger plants into the lawn. If you have creeping red fescue or Kentucky bluegrass, it will spread on its own. So that's one thing you do need to remember with ryegrass. Now the RPR is said to be creeping, so it spreads through stolons, it says, but still more than a year and a half after, I have not seen any stolons. I don't see it spreading at all, so I'm not sure how well that works. I think I read that it develops stolons after about 6 months or something like that, but still I haven't seen any stolons, especially when I dug out around the corner for the border. Then I could really see the ryegrass and how it looks, the roots. I didn't see any stolons. Maybe the winter even stopped that development, or maybe you need to scarify to kind of push that development of stolons. I'm not sure, but so far I haven't seen any. All right, I'm done. I've seeded all around the corners or the border, and it's actually starting to rain now, so hopefully I don't actually need to water this in. And hopefully this new ryegrass will survive winter, but I mean, we have to wait a long time to have that answer. But for now I'm just curious to see how it looks compared to the RPR, because the RPR is awesome when it comes to appearance. Now we just give this a week or two to grow, and hopefully in the next video I can show you the results. So I'll see you then.